Yeah. So before I joined Spellbound, I felt like, I had this message and this mission, but that my messaging and my copy just wasn't landing with the right people. And your message really resonated with me because I was either friend zoned or I was speaking to the void. And I knew I had been looking for someone to help me get through that so that I could actually speak to the right people.
Amazing. And so how did you feel about articulating and putting into words what you do? Because I know a lot of people that come into my world, it's hard because it's the invisible or it's not tangible. Like, how did you feel about articulating the value of what you do, marketing, selling, and all of that?
Yeah, well, it was so helpful for me because my main tool is the Akashic Records. So I'm reading energy for people and their businesses. And I could speak about that tool and I love sharing about that tool, but I really wanted to get underneath that.
Mm.
And how is that going to affect that person? And so as we were working together, it really helped me bring those pieces together of how can I really help this person? Is like you were helping me connect all the dots of what I was doing and what I was so passionate about, but really getting clear on how to talk to that person so that they started to see themselves reflected in the work that I do and why it's so important to connect with who you are at soul level and what your soul gifts are. So that really, yeah, it just, I guess, kind of felt lost in that or overwhelmed in the sea of, I have all these ideas and all this content, but it's all just almost throwing spaghetti at the wall instead of being clearly focused.
Amazing. So how do you feel now about it?
I feel amazing. I feel like I have the right words and that ability to, because I'm great one-on-one. I love talking to people one-on-one, but now I feel like I'm speaking to that one person in everything that I do on my social media, in my emails. And I feel like I came into this container wanting to accomplish some specific things. I wanted to create a webinar and I icing on the cake, I wanted to make a quiz. That was my stretch goal. And I did those things. And that's really helped me to have that invitation space, that top of funnel way to invite someone into my world.
Yeah. Amazing. And would you say that you faced like any kind of like obstacles or challenges throughout your journey?
Yeah, definitely.
I love it.
So but I think the beauty of your container is the space that you hold for what someone really needs in this work. Because I came in thinking like, oh, I'm going to do all of these things and I'm going to go above and beyond and I'm just going to crank out all of this stuff. And then I had lots of time where I needed to just sit and be and not send you copy every single week. And that really was the healing and space I needed to reprogram some of my high achiever energy and to just really embrace that part of myself that, oh, I am actually a high achiever and I'm wanting to do it perfect. But my energy is telling me to do it differently. And that's another thing that I think is just so beautiful about the space that you hold is allowing that intuition and to channel what we're here to share. And so it was like giving myself so much more permission and healing to be able to come into alignment with that piece of myself.
That's so amazing because I think that's one of the things that gets so overlooked sometimes when and most people that come into my world are high achievers, right? And we want to do good work and we want to go out there. And it was an unlearning for me to be able to hold the space. I had to unlearn that as well because I think it's easy to get caught in that like I got to go 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 go. I've invested. I've got to make this happen. And so much of the beauty and the creation and that alignment comes from the rest in the space and giving yourself that. So, how do you feel like yeah, go ahead.
Well, and I just want to say one more thing about that. Like, I was having somatic healing, like my body was changing. I was having like past life healings and things happen just because of doing this work. And so, you don't always think like, oh, I'm going to work on my messaging and then I'm going to have this somatic healing in my body, but I did because of that space and what needed to be repatterned.
Yeah, which is so beautiful because again, the work that I bring and do is, yeah, I help with the messaging and the copy, but in such an unconventional way, I think. And also knowing that when we live our like in order to live the message, we have to embody it. And so if we're trying to rush through things or we're just trying to push things out or force things out or try to conform to this pace that most business set, right? Of go, 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 no rest, no break, that it is counterintuitive in a lot of ways, especially for women in business, especially for soulful, sensitive women in business, that it's hard to sustain that. Yeah, I love it. So, how would you say that it has reshaped your business?
I am connecting with more people who are my ideal client that completely light me up, that I am so excited to serve. And it's really helped me feel a lot more confident when I am showing up online or showing up. I do a lot of in person networking still. And so I feel a lot more confident about what I have to share. But then I've also been able to be in the online space and make a transition to where I have a little bit more balance between in person and online because of the work that we've done.
Amazing. And so, where do you see your business going now? Let's just say, for like next 12 months.
Because of the work that we've done, I feel like I have this opportunity to really share my message with a lot more people
Yeah.
without working harder, without burning out, and in a way where it's just so much easier. I'm able to bring in people into my world because of this. And so I feel like my business is definitely growing because of the work that we've done.
Amazing. And what would you say is like the biggest takeaway? That's a
Hmm.
big question.
Yeah, it is. You know, I think my biggest takeaway is the way that you really reflected to me the work that I do, the impact that I have. And so getting to see myself through your eyes and then putting that together into words and really recognizing how I embody that and how I get to serve through that has been that's been the most impactful for me during this time.
So amazing. And I love hearing that because again, I think like oftentimes we think of the to do, right? We think of like I've got to write the copy and I've got to post the content and I've got to, send that email and all of that. And that is just how we take what we're about to create and put it into form. Like it's not we have to embody the message. We've got to and the confidence of it, right? And that comes with this work, this healing, this taking the steps forward, and then having that reflection is huge because it is a big part of yeah, my zone of genius. So I appreciate you reflecting that back to me because it is something that I can see and see in other people. And I'm really just here to support you in seeing that for yourself more than anything. Like you've done the work, and you did the work, and yeah, did amazing stuff with the masterclass and building out this quiz now, which is phenomenal. I know there is a lot of other programs out there that do messaging and copy and whatnot. What was it about Spellbound that was like, "Yes, this is the one?"
It was definitely your energy and the way that you put people first, being authentic and in integrity first over profits and over like throwing people's nervous system into fight, flight, freeze, fawn, in order to make a sale. Like you really are about being grounded in this work of impacting the world in a positive way. And I think you have such a beautiful uniqueness around holding space and holding energy while being able to do all the tech stuff.
Mm.
And so it was so nice to have the energy, the messaging and clarity, and the tech support in order to have that total package.
Amazing. What are you excited about going forward?
I'm really excited that now I feel like I'm so clear on my message that it's easy for me to show up and to share and to just have conversations with people. And so I'm really excited to be able to have my content creation flow and like those days blocked out where I get to just channel content and then I get to put it out and connect with amazing human beings through that.
Yeah, I love that because to me, that is the thing, right? Is to be able to have fun with the content, to have it flow through us, to not have it be this like dreaded thing that we have to do in our business. Like it gets to be fun. Yeah, love it. So if there was somebody listening to this and was considering Spellbound or considering working with me, what would but they were on the fence, let's just say they were considering options and whatnot, which we all do. What is something that you would say to them?
I would say, well, and first let me say, I was one of those people
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, is it time for me to make this investment? Is this really work that's going to move me forward? And you spent time with me talking through that. And really, for me, I mean, I knew it was a whole body yes, that it was my logical brain trying to talk me out of it. And I would say for anyone considering this program, like sit and think about where it is you want to be and what tools do you need to get there? Because the tools you have, the space you hold is very clear. It's very evident, at least, being on the other side of it, having gone through this, what it is you bring to the table. And so if someone really wants to speak to their ideal client, they don't want to be speaking to the void. They really want to be speaking to the person they want to work with that's vibrating in that space where they want to be operating, that this work will help you get there.
Yeah. And just a quick follow-up question to that, because you talk about something really important, that vibrating and that client. Where would you say that you were before? Like, were you attracting misaligned clients? And then what does that look like for you now when you talk about, or was it just like the way in which your offers were packaged or the language you were using? I'd love to dive a little bit into that because I think it's really intriguing for somebody watching this because there's so much that's possible in business. And I just want to hear from your perspective, like the possibility that this is created, but also kind of where you were before and maybe what you were experiencing before.
Yeah. I think I was working with people who really lit me up before, just not enough of them.
Yeah.
And I think because my messaging was too confusing to people, it wasn't clear enough where they felt like I was speaking directly to them. And when I first came into your world, I watched your master class. And so you have the vibrational scale. And I recognize like, oh, my people fall into the space where it's there, a lot of them are in their logical brain. It was the two, I won't remember exactly. Um
The thinker and then the intuitive. Yeah.
and then the intuitive, and those are my people. And I knew right then that this is a tool to help me really speak to them. I've been speaking to their pain so much, and I've been speaking lower on the scale, and that's not where they're at. And that's why there weren't enough people resonating with my message to come into my world.
Yeah, and that's a really cool thing is like, again, and those watching it that maybe haven't watched the masterclass, like traditional marketing really does speak to the deficit or the lack or the scarcity using words like fix or missing, right? And so it's even those like minor tweaks that can be changed in a message, but also in your own openness to go, wait a minute, like I have been laser focused my message over here, and those minor tweaks to just call in those people. And it's oftentimes when we think about it, right? You know, I'm much in that intuitive, but I also can equally get into that logical brain. We want to rationalize and we want to justify. And so it, you know, and for sure, when we're making a decision to invest in something, we're going, is this the right step? What am I going to get? Is this my best next move? Even though our bodies are going like, oh my gosh, I know I need to be in that room or in that space, but and I totally get it, which is something that I love to give people the space to just decide for themselves, and give them and help walk through that, because I truly believe that we all have the capacity for choice, and when we make a choice that we're fully empowered in, it works out way better in the long run, which again speaks to the type of clients that you call in, because most clients in that thinker or intuitive, they want to have the space to make the choice. They don't want to feel like they're in this space of nervous system going, oh crap, I'm fear of missing out, or if I don't take this opportunity now, like what's this going to do to my life or my business or my relationships? It's that angst feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a huge shift for me to see that of, oh, I've been speaking to their pain, just like we've all been taught. And that's keeping them stuck and it's keeping me stuck. Where none of us are making these bigger transformations, staying in that place.
Totally. And when you think about that in terms of the work you do, again, there's got to be that openness for expansion and evolution. I'm not saying that the people in level 1 or level 2 are not ready for that, because I lived very much in the two, the hustle, hustle, hustle.
Yep. Yeah.
But it can be a harder shift to go from like 1 to 4 overnight, or 1 to 4 in 6 months. Like that's a rapid growth, right? And so it really is, yeah, narrowing in on that human. Is there anything super creative that you're wanting to create beyond the quiz, beyond the masterclass? Like, is there anything that has dropped in creatively for you where you're like, I didn't think that this would be possible?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to be a part of a summit in April, and I've wanted to do a summit. It just hadn't been the right time, and that just dropped in. And that's about new earth frequencies and sacred success and soul purpose activation through new earth frequencies. So that is a creative exploration that I'm really excited to explore. And then at the same time, for me, more group facilitation
Yeah.
has come in. And so I'm excited to really be exploring these new opportunities through now that I have this lens that's helped me get really clear and focused.
Amazing, amazing. Well, it's been such a pleasure to support you on this journey. I loved being a part of it, and just seeing the growth over the last 12 months. Some of it very tangible in terms of like your goals, you know, putting out the masterclass, having people come through that funnel, and you know, and then also developing this quiz and creating some of those systems in place to bring people in consistently, but then also the invisible stuff that I think we don't often talk about, and that inner shift that needed to really happen, to continue to yeah, attract like those really dreamy clients into your world, and then also prepare you and get you ready for some of these other big amazing things that are going to continue to happen over, you know, the next 12, 24, 5 years, 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
there anything else you'd like to share?
Oh, I just want to share my gratitude for you. And again, like just the space that you have held for me to be able to do this work, and the way that the group has been just so incredible and lovely. I feel like the Spellbound group is filled with the most amazing humans doing the most phenomenal work. And so it's been like great just to be a part of that and make those connections with people. And this has been such an important part of my journey to get to plug into this energy. I feel like the energy of Spellbound has uplifted me and helped me evolve into this next level, again, just being plugged into that. So I'm so incredibly grateful that you've created this space for us.
Amazing. Well, yes, it's been such a pleasure. And like I said, I've loved watching your journey and I'm going to continue watching your journey because I just love what you do and what you represent and all of that. So
Awesome. Thank you, Catherine.